And this is my take on Fleischman is in trouble. This drama miniseries is a story about midlife crisis, friendship, nostalgia, career, and ambition. It also addresses life's purpose, marriage, and family. The story starts in the middle of chaos, then slowly brings us to the beginning of everything, and beautifully ends it with open possibilities. All of us have our own phase and definition of adulthood, and it's not supposed to be the same for everyone. For some people, it can be marriage and kids. For others, it can be financial freedom or their career. We get to see different versions of adulthood through our characters Toby, Claire, Seth, and Libby. Toby, a divorced doctor, yearned for love, a fulfilling marriage, and family. Seth is single and carefree, who enjoys his freedom, but eventually wanted to settle down. To Toby, Seth's life seemed perfect, but Seth felt empty and unsettled. Libby is a former writer for a men's magazine. She became a stay-at-home mom by necessity, and she longed for her youth. And for her, having an unpredictable life is exciting and full of possibilities. Lastly, the wife of Toby, Claire. She constantly strived to be at the top, multitasking everything, and too much career-focused, which resulted a conflict in their relationship. All three of them envy something in each other's life, leading them to compare themselves and perceive fortune in that person's life. But that person fails to see it, as their focus remains on their own life's adversities. For Libby, Toby's divorce gave him a sense of new possibilities, and that his life is no longer predictable. Toby's exploring dating sites and hookups gave him a perception that he is young and free of commitment, while Libby has been feeling old and stagnant. She didn't perceive that it is possible for two people to be at the same age and feel so different. In all three of them, Toby was the first one to get a taste of marriage. His focus is now career and family. He didn't get to experience dating apps and Seth's wild nights. For Toby, being able to do something like that is freeing and exciting. They are all the same age, but they welcomed adulthood differently. Experiencing hardship is something we will be able to relate to. Seeing yourself progress towards the life you have envisioned is growth. Realizing that you are right now as young as you will ever be, seize every opportunity and value your youth. You're lucky if you have found your other half in this world. Wanting to spend your time with them is scary but exciting. Every relationship starts off good, but through time, the feeling that you have for each other will have a constant shift. In this series, it's uncanny to see two people in a relationship, and through time, they grew apart. The marriage of Toby and Claire, for example, started off good but ended up divorced. I noticed that in their marriage, through time, their goals are no longer matched. Claire is focused on her business and her career. She knows how vulnerable everything is, and she could lose everything in just a snap. It is also sad to know that gaining friends for her is like business transaction. Toby couldn't keep up as Claire constantly moves forward, and in Toby's defense, there is such thing as enough. Toby and Claire's marriage is the exact opposite of Libby and her husband Adam. While Libby is lost and not knowing what she wanted to do in her career, Adam has been so patient and understanding of her situation. Failing to see her career end, Libby didn't realize that her life is good, as she constantly wonders what she's going to do. I like the analogy of Seth about affairs. People who have affairs, they're not trying to betray their partners. They're not really in love with someone else, but they're trying to find who they are again. They're trying to go back to the moment when they were last themselves. The people we come across in life could either stay all throughout or just in a certain chapter of our lives. People's image of you may not even be close to the image you see yourself. As a person, we constantly change. It's probably not a bad thing to move forward in life and leave someone behind. It could mean growth. We all navigate life differently. Some people strive for more, for others, it's always the what's next, and for many, it's being happy and contented. Whatever that may be to people, All we need to do is keep going, no matter how terrible or great your situation is. How are you going to see the end if you don't move forward? I think the enemy of oneself could also be self satisfaction and defining success. Accomplishing the standards set by society will not make you permanently happy, so we always set another goal to chase. And so it becomes this endless cycle of unrest and satisfaction. Success is something that you should feel and not constantly chase. Nostalgia plays a big role in our life. It can also be limiting to moving forward. The constant reminder of how small your world and obligations were. Remembering the feeling of how we all thought the problems we had back then were so big and the world could just end. Remembering how fun everything was and wishing you could go back to those simpler times. But in reality, going back to doing things you enjoy when you were young won't make you any younger. But it also doesn't mean that you will lose your sense of self as you grow older.